Hey guys, how's it going? As promised, here's my review of Krieg the Psycho, the new character class for Borderlands 2. I've only got a couple hours of playtime with him so far, but I have noticed that, at least in my opinion, he seems to play kind of like a mix of Brick from the first game and Gage from this game. Brick, of course, being in the sense that his action skill is all melee. You take out a buzz axe, you just beat the crap out of everything, or you can use it as a ranged weapon too. You can toss it at enemies. And there's actually a skill you can get that'll attach dynamite to it, so you can toss it and it'll kind of explode on impact. But I did notice when you throw it, it's good on static targets, but on moving targets like that, it's not so hot. It'll miss more often than not. But whether you're meleeing or throwing it, it does do a lot of damage when it connects. So if it does its job, it's gonna do it well. But then also he's kind of like Gage in the sense that Gage had anarchy stacks up to 100 for like killing enemies and whatnot, and Krieg gets bloodlust stacks as long as you have skills, or skill points rather, in his bloodlust skill tree. Again, up to max 100, and that's going to have an effect on the how potent all the skills in that are. But if you're gonna get Krieg, most likely you'll probably get him because of his action skill here. That's kind of be the main draw for most people. So if that's the case, there are two kind of bigger issues I've noticed with it. The first of which is, as you can kind of see here, when you activate the skill, you don't get a health boost or anything, no damage reduction. So if you're going in with low health and you activate, you're going to go down immediately, and it's a complete waste of the skill. There are two ways that I'm aware of so far that you can kind of get around this. The first of which being a skill in the Bloodlust skill tree called Taste of Blood, which it's 0.1% damage reduction during the Buzz Axe action skill, times the number of Bloodlust stacks you have, times the number of skill points you have in that. So with that skill maxed and the max amount of Bloodlust stacks, you could get about 50% damage reduction with him. So that kind of gets around it. And then the final skill in his Mania skill tree is once you're at 1/3 health or lower and you activate it, you transform into a badass Psycho Mutant. You're invulnerable during the transformation, mind you. That'll fully regenerate your health once you activate it. So, excuse me. That kind of puts it kind of, in my opinion, on par with how the Gunzerker acting skill worked, where it fully regenerated your health. So yeah, you can kind of get around that issue with one of those two ways, at least as far as I'm aware of right now. But the second issue I noticed was that comparing the cooldown timer to how long you actually use the skill for, it's pretty unbalanced, at least in my opinion. You can use the skill for about 15 seconds, and the cooldown itself is 2 minutes. So unless you're kind of saving the skill and using it tactically, you're going to be waiting on cooldown a lot, which I figure for a character that was kind of more advertised as being melee and action oriented, it's not so good, because you're pretty much sitting behind cover waiting for the skill to recharge half the time. But there are a couple ways that I'm aware of you can get around this. The first of which, going back to the Bloodlust skill tree again, is with a skill called Blood Trance. It gives 0.05 seconds more Buzz Axe Rampage, again, times the number of Bloodlust stacks, times the number of skill points you have in that, so up to 25 more seconds in the skill using that, which is pretty good, I guess. And then in the Mania skill tree, again, there's a skill that basically, to start off, Krieg, when his skill's on cooldown, if he takes damage, it recharges faster. And this skill, I forget the name of it offhand, but it basically enhances that, makes it recharge faster than it would when you take damage. And then you also take friendly fire damage at 50% compared to how much your friend's guns would do against enemies. And that'll help recharge it faster too. And you can get that down to 30% with enough points in that skill. So those are basically the only two issues I've noticed with the character so far, and there are, of course, as I pointed out, a couple ways you can get around them. but you do have to put a lot of skills in. Some of the skills are higher levels, so it'll take a while, but you can get around it. But otherwise, I would really recommend this character, actually. He's really fun to use. It's pretty satisfying to go beat people in the face with an axe. But yeah, I'm not sure if he's worth the $10, 800 Microsoft points or whatever to get him, but I would recommend him if you got money to spare. He's really fun to use, so go ahead and check him out, and I'll see you guys next time.